Stefon Diggs on the field. We'll get the updates on that. Nico Collins speak. He says he's blessed. I think we're blessed to follow the Texans. Plus, a few other questions. What the hell does Eaton look like? We'll get into it in the locker room. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too plugged
Stefon Diggs finally on the field. My goodness, what a beautiful sight it was. You know, people can say it's just OTAs, and you can say, oh, you know, we can see him when it actually matters in training camp and stuff. But until you actually see it, you don't know how you're going to feel when you see someone, a star player in the uniform of the team that you support, you cover, all of that. And it looked lovely. It looked absolutely lovely. I don't want to overreact, but I think this offense might be pretty damn good. No doubt. Appreciate everyone who came over from Cody Stutes. Cody Stutes is the best. He covers the squad. It's one of the best resources you can have. And if you're gonna follow along with me, you should follow along with Stutes because he's always got those boots on the ground. I'm usually on the air at 10, but Cody Stutes has become the resource. He's become the eyes. He's the person that when I get off the air, I call. So I appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. Early thoughts on the Stefon Diggs thing. I thought it was nice to see. Look, if you hear the head coach and you hear the GM constantly praise guys, regardless of their status, but praise guys for being there every day and whatnot, I mean, naturally, you would think that they would rather the guys be there than not. And you had Stefon Diggs today. You had Danielle Hunter. You had Nico Collins. We'll hear from Nico Collins in a sec. And you had Tank Dell. And you can't help but get excited when you see it. When this wide receiver group gets off the bus and you see at the very front Stefon Diggs, you see Tank Dell, you see Nico Collins, you can't help but think this is going to be a really, really good wide receiver group. I've started a study, and I'm going to try to put this video out tomorrow or Saturday. But Joe Mixon kind of had the quote of the day today. He said that everyone will eat. And by everyone, he's talking about the wide receiver. He's talking about the running back. He's talking about Dalton Schultz. He says that everyone on this offense will eat. And I've kind of started looking up, you know, what that looks like when you have a lot of weapons. There's pressure on the quarterback to hell. I'll just pull this up. I don't typically pull up like this show prep doc, but I'll just do it because I'm looking through it right now. And in the modern NFL, it looks a lot different than it did back in the 90s. You go back and look at some of the numbers of those teams in the 90s, it's not that much. But I'm just going to go through a few teams where there were a lot of receivers. And I'll put this up tomorrow when I get the Mixon video, who, by the way, is a badass at the podium. You want to talk about someone nice, but like, for example, the 1998 Vikings, they had Randall Cunningham come in for Brad Johnson. He had 14 starts. Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Jake Reed. The 2011 Packers, where they had 4 guys eclipse 600 yards. Didn't really run the ball, though. Getting to the Chiefs, I'm going to sprinkle in some Colts, some Broncos, Rams, greatest show on turf, all that. And just see what eating looks like, and then figure out like what the comparison is for the Texans. And am I drinking the Kool-Aid? Probably. Am I saying that the Texans are going to be this good? No, but when you have a lot of talent, like, what does it look like when you kind of spread it out a little bit? And some of these teams didn't really run the rock as much as others, but that's just kind of the interesting thing. And when you hear Joe Mixon say that, and you're in this part of the offseason, I just think it's a pretty interesting exercise to partake in. So that's what I'm going to work on tonight. For sure tomorrow before the show. Just what does eating look like with this squad? Do I see Robert Woods making the team? I kind of feel like it's not the worst thing to keep him around, especially if he can just be kind of that reliable slot guy. I don't feel comfortable enough getting rid of him because I don't know that John Mechie can fill that void. Now, I heard someone saying if you watch Robert Woods run routes and then you watch Diggs and Tank Dell, there's a big difference. Well, no kidding. I mean, no kidding. But I do. If you would have asked me this like a month or so ago, I probably would have said no. But the fact that he's still here, I just find it hard to believe that if they believed that he was going to be gone, they would keep him around this long. So yeah, I would say that Robert Woods has a really, really good shot. For sure. H-Town's Ultimate Cody said, "What up?" And you're one of his best friends. I wish Cody's my best friend for sure. We are definitely bros. And to be honest, I just think his content's good now too. Like there have been times in our lives where like we're not sitting here praising each other's content, but I just think the content's good. I think it's elite. I wouldn't say I didn't if it was. Friends aside. Young Costa says, seeing Stefon, Nico, and Tank on the field at one time is just surreal as a Texans fan, not used to all this talent offense at one time. I don't know that you've had it ever. I mean, what would you say is the best wide receiver even duo in Texans history? Andre Johnson and pick somebody. Hopkins and Fuller were cooking early in the Watson tenure, but yeah, I would say that this is like, as far as an array of talent on paper, I don't think there has been that. Tyler Milner says the number 1 jersey looks clean. It looks clean. He's got the sleeves down. He's got the shirt down. Yeah, Stefon Diggs knows what he's doing out there. He's pretty swagged out. If the kids still say that, I doubt it. Gage, are you still questioning why he hasn't taken the podium? I mean, I'm not questioning it. I just think it's a little bit silly. I actually went up to NRG today before the show. I got up there at 8. The show's at 10. Typically, I get to the studio at 8, but they have like a new system for credentials where you, I guess there's like face recognition or something. And I was kind of giving the PR a hard time about Diggs not talking. It's been today was 52 days since he's been here. But I mean, he's going to speak at minicamp, so we'll hear him. I think he'll be excited. I think he'll be good. And I think you'll be excited to hear him talk, which is really what the main thing is on this. Brandon mentioning Kenyon Green dieting. The body, I'm not trying to be like too, body transformation guy when it comes to the Texan squad, but I mean, there's been a couple of times. I remember Nico's second year, you could kind of notice the body transformation. You kind of noticed it with Brevin Jordan when he came in. Dameon Pierce is noticeably thinner. Like he is way more toned up. He's a lot more thin. I don't know. Like as far as moving, it's kind of hard to tell with the running backs, but he looks thin. Kenyon Green looks in shape for the first time. I actually thought CJ looked trim. And maybe there is a certain element of baby fat that a 22-year-old possesses. I mean, CJ Stroud's, I'm not saying that he was Jamarcus Russell. He always keeps himself in shape. But I'm actually interested to hear him asked about this because it's clear that he's a lot more trim. And he looks like he's in better shape for sure. And I think you got to I think you'll notice it if you go look at some of these videos for sure. Again, shout out to everyone that came here with Four Stoots. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Let's look at some of these highlights that the Texans put out. They put out a couple of highlights, and this can kind of fall into the everyone will eat type of vibe. Let's see what they got here. Okay, little Nico toe tap right there. I don't really know if that's going to be a catch in the game. I think Stingley might be on him there. What do you think? Nice little. Then we got a little Diggs action here. Let's get a little Diggs action up, courtesy of the Houston Texans. Tell me CJ doesn't look more thin and trim. I mean, he was never out of shape, but I mean, if you look at a lot of quarterbacks, great quarterbacks from like year 1 to 2, there's a big difference. I mean, you can kind of see CJ's that Diggs right there. Look at that slide. Okay, watch that all day. Perfect little toss. So you got a little Nico, little Diggs action. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, a little Mixon action too, out of the backfield. I'm looking forward to Mixon. I've really enjoyed listening to Mixon talk, and y'all know I'm kind of a podium critic, for better or worse, regardless of how big of a deal you do or don't think it is. Just a little Mixon right there. He could get involved in the pass game this year, so it'll be interesting to see what everyone eats will look like. I'll be sure to get that video out. Again, it's going to be a Friday night or it's going to be a Saturday for sure. We're approaching the downtime, but we're going to get mini camp before. We'll hear from Nico Collins in a sec, but I like to get to the comments too. I'm ready to see a healthy Noah Brown this year. I feel like everyone's sleeping on him. What does that look like would be my question. I mean, I don't mind having Noah Brown, as your 4th or 5th receiver. And there were times where he stepped up, but if everyone's eating, what does a healthy Noah Brown look like? Especially with the weapons they have. I don't think there would be much. Who will be surprise cuts? Mine would be Woods, Murray, Dare, King again, CJ Henderson, and Mills traded. See, I wouldn't trade Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills could end up being your long-term backup. And I think he's better than Keenum right now. I know Keenum won the Tennessee game. I'm not 100% certain that Davis wouldn't have won it. He was clearly better in the Browns game. So I think Mills is your best backup right now. And they did too until push kind of came to shove. But I don't see Mills getting cut. If he gets traded, okay, you're going to need to figure out the backup next year. Now, both these guys are on the final year of their deal, so you never know. Woods, I would have said yes, but I mean, I don't know how much of a surprise it would be. They just really like him and they really respect him. So the Woods thing, keep an eye on. Murray, I don't see them cutting Eric Murray. They seem to like him, and quite frankly, the Eric Murray situation, and I'll admit this from my perspective. I won't lump all of y'all in with me, but I think there might be some agreements that Eric Murray, for what he's been the last few years, which is a appropriately paid reserve safety, has been fine. It was just when King Bill and the POS Jack Easterby paid him like he was an elite safety is where the frustration kind of kicked in. So I like Eric Murray. I actually think that he's decent depth along with MJ Stewart, but stranger things have happened than him being cut. Dare, yeah, I don't know where Dare fits in. I heard someone talking about, Justin Reed might kick for the Chiefs, so could Dare do it as well? I mean, were those kickoffs they were pretty rough. I don't think he kicks as good as Justin Reed does. I know the kicker's going to have to tackle, which kind of worries me. This is kind of like a nobody's talking about, maybe getting a little bit freaked out. But if the kicker's going to have to tackle a little bit more, I kind of worry about Fairbairn because he kind of gets hurt a lot for a kicker. But Dare, don't know. Des King, I could easily see Des King getting cut for sure, especially with what's going on with Lassiter. I could see that. It wouldn't shock me. CJ Henderson, I don't think he gets cut. I think he hangs around, and then Mills traded. I don't know. Primetime V, shout out to you, my friend. I don't want to overreact because this is OTA. But what do you think about bringing in Xavier Howard once he's a free agent? He's talked about it. They probably want to get a look at Okudah and Xavier Howard. I'm getting more and more sold on Okudah the more I hear people talk about him. But I mean, maybe not. I think the Steven Nelson ship has sailed. If we only make it to the divisional round of the playoffs, do you think the season will be a disappointment? That's from HT. I mean, I think it just kind of depends what it looks like. I mean, obviously, there's expectations. I'm sure you'll be disappointed at the end of the season, but I think it would just kind of depend what it looks like, and who you lose to, how you lose, what happens in the season. I don't have like a set in stone, they have to get to this point, because I think there's been times where there's kind of been like, misleading playoff runs here. I mean, you've seen, playoff wins where they, beat the Raiders' third string quarterback or something like that. And BOB's kind of hanging his head on that. Like, is that really an impressive playoff win? I think it would kind of depend what it looks like. How's Kenyon Green looking? Skinnier. Saw someone post a video of Petrie getting cooked. In his defense, it was against Stefon, but hot damn. Yeah, that'll happen every once in a while. What's up, Mickey? How you doing, my friend? Chris, be sure to subscribe and like the video, folks. The likes are always appreciated. This season will be insane. We stacked on both sides. Let's go. Yeah, the defense isn't even really getting as much love. I know Mixon gave them love, and we'll get into that with the video this week and with the eating video. But yeah, I think the defense is going to be nice. D'Amico Ryan's defenses always play hard, but I do think this defense has potential to be a hell of a lot better than it's getting credit for. And I don't think anyone's saying it's going to be a bad defense. Secondary is maybe a little bit of a concern. You don't know about the depth at linebacker. I'm not concerned about the defensive tackles as much as a lot of people are. I think D'Amico has a culture where a lot of these guys, you can rotate them in and out, and he'll figure it out. But yeah, I think the defense is going to be pretty legit. Jacob, shout out to you, my friend. This offense is going to make some D coordinators lose sleep, I would assume. Gage is excited for Cade Stover. I think he's our tight end of the future, perhaps. Who knows? Tegan Quintariano and Dare wasted roster spots. If Tegan Quintariano can stay freaking healthy, I don't think it's a wasted spot. That's just a big ass if at this point for Quintariano. I mean, my goodness. I mean, when he's in there, there's signs of things, but Tegan Quintariano just cannot stay healthy at all, for sure. Cody Content is 100 all day. He's a true teller, not a homer. Yeah, he is. I'm not either. Maybe sometimes a little bit too much, especially during the bad times. But yeah, I mean, he approaches it as he's got a job to do. He's not going there with DSTs like some people might. Like, he's going in there to do a job. He's going in there to present news to you, and that's really the obligation. You come from a journalistic background. You factor in some entertainment and stuff. He doesn't have the DSTs. He's bringing you the content. So 100%. If you had to pick one rookie, who would you pick? One rookie to do what? No idea what that means. My friend. Who shakes out the DT room? Your guess is as good as mine. I think it's going to be an interesting competition. I think that there could be a number of things going on. I think the person that's probably the most in trouble that we've gotten kind of used to is Heinisch. I think Heinisch is going to have a little bit of competition, but yeah, I would agree with that. Does Cody beat John McClain? Dude, Cody works out a little bit. He's just a big bone dude, man. He's a 3 sandwich kid, but yeah, McClain's old. I don't know about in their primes. Cody, I mean, he'll hit the gym and stuff. He can get it done. They made it sound like they are still seeing Harris level up right now. Not quite sure what that means. What's up with this rookie class? I'm the one feeling about him, or does that stand out to have them? See, I think this is fair. I don't think that the rookie class this year was selected with making an immediate impact in mind. I think that it was selected with the 2-year plan that Caserio has spoken on. I think Fisher potentially is one of your starting tackles in a couple of years. I think Lassiter could just end up being a nickel guy. Bullock could develop into a really, really good safety. It could be maybe the opposite of Petrie, where you see struggles early, but then in year 2, you see him elevate, when you kind of saw Petrie have a little bit of a rough season. But whether you like it or not, I don't think that this rookie class was 100% selected with immediate impact in mind, which is fine. I mean, if you drafted a guy that can end up being one of your starting tackles in a couple of years and you're saving damn near $20 million in cap space, might not be that exciting right off the top, but a couple of years from now, you look back and say, okay, I can see why they did that. So, yeah, that's where I'm at on that. What are the chances Fisher starts the season with Titus? Still questionable for the start of the season. I don't know what Titus's status is. I know he hasn't been there. But yeah, Hutchinson, haven't really even paid attention to him. He hasn't really done anything of note. So there's that. Would it be worth to keep Keenum for a mentorship role alone? He'll probably be there. I wonder if he wants to coach. I wonder if he could end up being like a quarterback coach here. Every time I talk to him and I start asking him about post playing, he kind of gets a little bit Case Keenum sarcastic in that I'm basically trying to send him to the retirement home. Kind of is what that is. Let's hear from Nico Collins again. The Everyone Will Eat piece is going to come out tomorrow or Saturday. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to like it, like this one. Let's hear from Nico Collins, though. And the thing I like about this is, and he's always been a pretty likable guy, but you can tell that he's just kind of really, really humbled. And you can tell he's really, really happy that he just got the bag. And you can kind of just feel his energy. Here's Nico.
Great, man. Blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have the deal happen. You talked about earlier the offseason and what it would mean to you.
Yes, sir.
What's the feeling like, and what do you hope to do now going forward?
Man, the feelings is unexplainable right now. You know, it's something you've been wishing, you know, since you was a little kid, man, playing football, 5, 6 years old, man, and your dream is to, you know, make it in the league, you know, get that second contract, man, and you know, God blessed me with the opportunity, and I got it. And I feel like now, man, is motivation is, you know, something that you always been wishing your entire life, you know, and it's here. And I feel like now is only up. You know, I got to work on my game, continue to work on my game, work on my craft, work on myself, you know, continue to be a great team player for the team, man, and so we can reach our team goal at the end. But, man, I'm more than blessed, more than happy. You know, this is everybody's dream. You know, you come to the league, man, you get that second contract. And I got it, blessed enough, man. Nick, Kyle, Hannah, D'Amico, and they believed in me, made it happen for me, man, and just blessed on all levels.
Hey, Nico, now that you mentioned having that and you want to keep getting better, is there if you had to pick one thing in your game that you're like, this is an area where I can grow, what would that be?
Just working on my craft. I feel like just become a better man, better person, better teammate, better route runner, better, you know, receiver, you know, because you can't never get comfortable on your game. I feel like, you know, I got this, you know, but that's not the end. You know, I feel like it's the beginning. I feel like it's more to be proved, more game to work on myself, you know, and be, you know, available for the team. You know, I feel like that's my goal, that's my mindset, man. Be available for the team, continue to work on myself, work on my mental, my body, continue to, you know, thank God for it all, man. Continue to be myself. and I feel like everything else will fall in place.
Sorry about that.
Good.
I was just going to ask you, how were you able to block out all that outside noise and just focus on playing football? You know, you never let the contract talk get to you, never let extension talk get to you. You just, stuck to playing the game. How were you able to block all that?
I feel like just it wasn't on my mind. I knew, you continue to have your head down, continue to work on your game, continue to play football, and continue to do the things you love, and the money gonna come. It's gonna come. It's gonna fall in place if you continue to do the right things, continue to finish your mission. And I feel like for me, it was, never about the money. I just love the game of football. So getting money, it's a good thing. I ain't saying no bread now. Don't get it. Nah, but it's just a blessing. I just love the game of football. I love what comes with it, man. I love working on my game and love winning. So I feel like you continue to have that mindset, continue to walk one foot in front of the other, and everything else fall in place. So I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Continue to work with me.
This is our first time seeing Stefon on the field, working with you guys, talking with you guys, all those things. How can he help this team, this offense? How can he help you?
A lot, man. Steph, he's that vet in the room we've been needing. I've been watching Steph since I was in middle school. Middle school, high school. Like, he's been very successful in his league, man. And for him to be in the room with us, man, and a teammate of mine, of everybody, man, and just his success he's had on the field, man, it's no better feeling. You could pick his brain, pick how he move, how he think, coming off the line of scrimmage, if the defender in a different position, like, the little things like that, man, like, it really goes a long way. And I see why he has that type of success now. And him being a part of the room, man, joining the field with him, sharing the field with him, just every day, man, just picking his brain, we push each other, everybody, and I feel like as a unit, as a receiver room, man, we got the right pieces for everybody to shine. I feel like we all gonna push each other, which we're doing right now, and continue to do, and just play for one another, and play like that, man. Can't nobody stop you.
I always wonder what these OGs, for lack of a better term, I'm probably not helping the cause. I always wonder, like, how does it feel when Stefon Diggs says, or Nico Collins says, "Man, I've been watching you since middle school." I always wonder how that feels. It's got to be like hey, shut up, kid.
You mentioned that you, Stefon, Tank, you guys are all playmakers, but you all do it in different ways.
Different ways, yes, sir.
Which put defenses in a bind.
Yeah.
How will that translate onto the football field, and how effective can that be to put in defenses in the quote-unquote?
Like you said, man, it's hard. We all got different games. We go 2x2, 11 personnel. They don't know who on the field. And then we come out, then another three. I feel like just as a unit, as a receiver room, we got the pieces we need. And I just feel like it's gonna be hard for defenses. We gotta play true. But I feel like for us is get everybody else opportunities to shine and win. I feel like we know our mission. We trying to win a Super Bowl. So not being selfish, can't be selfish. You gotta be a team player. You gotta have joy for your brother out there making plays. So I feel like just as a unit, man, that's what we're doing. Building that chemistry, building that bond, man. And build that bond is unbreakable. So I feel that's where we at right now. That's where we here at OTAs, getting that chemistry, getting those reps, getting that extra time and bonding, So come on Sundays, man, we just shining, not even thinking about nothing.
Nico, what does it mean to you to know that at 27 you could be unrestricted? Most guys only get one chance to get a big contract.
Yeah.
You get two.
Get two, huh? It's a blessing. It is, but I ain't at 27 yet. So it's later on down the road. I know if I continue to be myself, continue to work the way I want to work, everything will fall in.
Hey, McClain won his 10-year plan too. Goodness gracious, man! Damn, McClain, come on, man.
In place, but that's the end goal. I feel like for me, I gotta focus on this season, this OTAs, this offense. Second year in offense, man, just dialing in the concepts. And just out there, just being fun, having fun, playing fun. And, just enjoying the moment, and I feel like everything else gonna fall in place.
CJ and you clearly have some chemistry. What are the ways that CJ works with the wide receiver room to get that chemistry that shows up on game?
Yeah, that just shows, how CJ is as a person. He's a great leader. Great leader, great person, humble. And he's willing to do whatever, for the teammates. And it shows every day, locker room. The chemistry. Just the way he just bring everybody. He leads for a reason. There's a reason why why he, you know, is the person he is, you know, and he keep us level, he keep us pushing, he keep us, you know, being great, you know, being the best version we can be on the football field, and having that person as your quarterback it's amazing. You know, you had a quarterback that means something, you know, he care, you know, he willing to put it all out there for everybody, so everybody can shine, you know, so we can win, you know, as a unit, you know, so I feel like that's his mindset. I feel like it's only going to be greater for him, you know, continue to lead, continue to, you know, lead the team the way we know he can. And we got his back.
Nico, talk about the second year of this offense.
Yep.
Last week, Dalton said
dudes.
you guys kind of maybe even expedited some of the play call and stuff, shortened some things up. Bobby talked about how useful it is being the second year.
Yeah.
How much more is there to this offense schematically, not in addition to the talent being added, because you guys already have that base from last year and it is the second year of this offense?
Yeah, it's amazing, man, to have another year in the system, you know, another year to, you know, open up the book more. You know, like Dawg said, man, it's like it's a lot of playmakers on that field, man. Like, it's a lot of different ways everybody get the ball. And so I just feel like, man, it's going to make it hard for defense to figure out what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's getting what, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like for us being in the second year as the offense, man, it's going to be amazing, you know, because since I got here, you know, I've been in different offenses a couple of years, so it feel good to go into another year at the same offense, you know, not learning a new playbook, you know, splits, formations, stuff like that. You know, it feels good to go into next season with that edge on your shoulder, man, just, you know, ready to attack, ready to have fun. So.
I saw you in Vegas, you enjoying the ambiance of Radio Row and everything. New contract now. Talk about your maturation now at this point. Where do you feel that you are and the point where you want to get to?
Yeah, I feel like right now, man, I'm speechless. You know, I don't really know how to feel yet. You know, it hasn't hit me yet, but it's a blessing, man. I feel like like I said, man, it's something you've been dreaming your entire life, you know, to get that. And I feel like for me right now, it's continue to work on my game, remember why, remember my mission, you know, remember my end goal, you know, because right now it's just the beginning, it's only the peak, man. And I feel like I got a lot more to prove, a lot more, you know, to do on my game, you know. So I feel like for me, man, just continue to be myself, continue to have my head down, one foot in front of the other, man, and, you know, thank God for it all. You know, just keep distractions away.
Nico, we were with you at your football camp. You're around a lot of kids talking about doing things the right way. You also were with your family. They all came in. What does it mean to you to have that support system to get you to this point?
Right,
and what are some things you hope to do financially now that you're in this position?
I don't even know. I ain't thought about that, man. But
Getting in
I
the
feel
pocket,
like, man, just having, you know, the people in your circle, you know, to push you every day, you know, tell you to keep going when times get hard, you know, that shoulder to lean on, that shoulder to cry on, you know what I'm saying, just whatever to vent to. I feel like it's good to have your parents, you know, your girl, your sister, you know, anybody, you know, your wife, anybody in your circle, man, because that's all you got, you know what I'm saying. When you at the long days, that's where you go back to, family, you know what I'm saying. So then they're going to help you, you know, continue to grow as a person, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like, man, just having that in your circle, man, is very important, and I'm blessed for that, you know, because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't have everybody in their circle corner, you know, so I feel like I'm blessed, man, and to have that support system, continue to keep going and be myself.
Nico, speaking from a player perspective, how important is it just to have that consistency? Because even though you've been in the league for 4 years, this is the first time you're coming back with same head coach, same offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I feel like, man, it's important to have, you know, the same consistency. You know, you don't want to have any drop-offs, you know, I feel like just having the same coach, the same offense, same, you know, unit from last year, man, just adding another year to it, man, it builds the feel, builds the energy, it builds the confidence, and all around the building, you know. And I feel like just having this second year, you know, in offense, man, it's going to be great for everybody to make plays, you know, have fun, man, put some points on the scoreboard, you know, just reach out and go, just get that Super Bowl, man. So I feel like that's the mission, you know, continue to work every day,
Cool.
You know, continue to stack days, for sure. Appreciate y'all.
All right, there you go. It's Nico Collins. Totally a little bit humble, a little bit excited, a little bit the same old dude, really, that's been here the entire time. We'll get to Bobby Slowik as well. Hear what he had to say a little bit later on in the show. But that was Nico Collins. I mean, you get $75 million, man. What are you doing? That's going to be really, really interesting. Cajun Girl 59 says, I hope they can protect CJ this year. And he gets the MVP. Yeah, the offensive line is going to be interesting. I'll be honest, I'm not concerned about it. I'm not pumped about it. If that makes sense. There's been years recently, there's been years going back to even O'Brien where you gas yourself up into getting excited about the offensive line, and you set yourself up for disappointment. It's not really even like a PTSD type of situation. I just don't feel bad about it. I don't feel great about it. By the way, no Tunsil and no Howard at the voluntary. They should be at mini camp, so we should get a glimpse of them, and we should get a better idea of where Titus Howard is. So that'll be interesting. Is he working on the side or is he out there on the field? That'll be something interesting to keep an eye on when the Texans are on the field and they actually have to be. I don't. This is Kenyon Green year 2. No, it's year 3. I always laugh at that. I've heard D'Amico say stuff like that with like Christian Harris. No, that's year 3. It was tough last year, but yeah, I would still say it's year 3. Jeffrey Smith, for me, I go from being excited for drafting Nico to being ready to cut him last year before camp, then to be excited for a strong play on a contract year. It's been quite a ride. Yeah, it has been an interesting ride for Nico. It's been kind of up and down. And he's been good. The offensive line may be our only weakness, as what Blue Boy 9 says. That's possible too. Let's hear from Slowick, good old big hat Bobby Slowik, and what he had to say today when he met with the media. Bobby Slowik had coaching interviews, but a quarterback to work with. Let's hear what old Bobby Slowik had to say when he met with the media types.
Go ahead, John.
How much better should Coach be in his second season in your system?
Yeah, it's more, I think it's really across the whole NFL. When you get to year 2, you eliminate a lot of the steps to get to where you want to end up. So the verbiage is more familiar to the guys, where year 1, a lot of the strain early on is verbiage. And I mean, we're still going through that with the new players right now, just learning our terms that other people use, but they call something different, and hammering it in and how we say it and what we teach in that regard. But it definitely expedites the process being in year 2, without a doubt.
You have 3 guys who are capable of going for 1,000 yard seasons at the same time. How do you manage that? The demand that they may have, the utilizing all of their talents. Like, how do you manage that?
Yes, it's really the same as last year. That's what's fun. Is last year I would say all the time, we got a group of guys in the receiver room and the tight end room and the running back room that we feel like have good skill sets, and they're all elite at something. And our job is to take advantage of what they're elite at. How do we make sure that what fits them gets shown to the world and showcased, and we get a chance to use that in the pass game and in the run game. And I mean, we got a quarterback that really gives us no limitations in that regard. We can do all kinds of stuff to make sure that whatever we're calling and however we use guys, we're making sure that they're doing their strengths. And that's really what it all comes down to.
From a play calling standpoint, having Stefon Diggs and Joe Mixon added to what you already had with Nico, Tank, Dalton, and all these other players, what kind of freedom does that give you in terms of flexibility, things you can try to do? You were saying that there's no limits, but what kind of things is your vision for this offense?
Yeah, it's really that. It takes all limits off whatever you feel you need to do to win a game. If we feel like we got to throw the ball deep to win a game, we could do that. If we got to throw it short to win a game, we could do that. If we got to run the ball 40 times to win a game, we feel like we could do that. So it just enables and empowers all of us to really do whatever's necessary that given week to beat the opponent in front of us. And everybody on our offense and really on our team right now is all in on that, and that's what's making this really fun.
Can they run the ball is going to be the question. Like, could Joe Mixon be top 8, top 10 in the league in rushing? I think that's going to be a real question, because they say what you wanted about Devin Singletary last year. You're not going to be a elite rushing offense with Devin Singletary. Can they run the ball and be a top 10-ish rushing team where Maybe if it's weather, maybe if it's just not clicking, if they can just slow it down and run the ball, and when they have leads late, wear down the other team and wear down the clock. Can they do that is going to be the question. Joe Mixon has shown he can. Can they do that? That's going to be the biggest question. If they can do that, it's going to be scary.
The interview process, going through meeting with these teams, having the chance to interview for head coaching positions, do you feel like that can help you in what you bring back? And what's the thought process for you in terms of, hey, the Texans kind of wanted to make sure I felt very welcome and to be back?
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful to the McNairs, to Nick. I know I've said it in the past, but I can't say enough about D'Amico as a coach and as a person, and what they've all meant to me and how great they've been through everything. I've been blessed that the players we have are just a really enjoyable group to be around as players and as people. I've had a lot of fun. I'm fired up to do it again this year, and I was blessed last year to have the opportunity to have a few head coach interviews and go through that process and see what that's like. But I can't even begin to describe my excitement for just staying in Houston, getting back at it, and really going out and building on what we did last year.
Coach, last year, by the end of the season, you had gained so much trust in CJ and him being able to call a game basically himself. Going into year 2, how much more input would he have into the system?
What is that? What does that mean? I hope he ain't doing that. I hope Bobby's helping him call the game.
You and him working together.
It's really the same. He had a lot of input last year as well. It's more what he's comfortable suggesting. And, when we have dialogue, I said last year, we get to the answer a lot faster. There could be weeks where there's more dialogue because he has more thoughts. There could be weeks where we're already on the same page because of what we went through last year, and there's not a lot of dialogue needed. But that really won't change from last year. I think the biggest thing going into year 2 for CJ is really year 2 for a quarterback is a big year. It's a really, really impactful year to me that kind of sets the trajectory for the rest of his career. And I think a lot of that.
That's crazy. Year 2 sets the trajectory for your career. That's wild. I mean, if you're talking about pressure and all that type of stuff, when you hear the OC say that's interesting. He's been around. He's got a lot of insight. It sets the trajectory for your career. I suck at saying that word, but I do know what it means, and that's crazy to hear from Bobby Slowik.
It has to do with you get a chance to hammer the fundamentals. Like last year, there's a lot going on. You got to hit fundamentals. You got to hit verbiage. You got to hit play calls. You got to hit protections. You got to hit all this stuff. And you hit fundamentals to a degree, but you can only do so much. Now we really get to dive into the fundamentals of this is what we do and how we play and what makes him great, and really fit that and grow that within our offense. So that really, to me, is what's been just through phase 2 and OTA so far. I mean, he's on board and all in, and he's picking up right where he left off for sure.
You guys ranked 23rd in 11 personnel usage. You guys use a lot more 21 and 12. Well, not more than 12, 11, but you use that a decent amount. What's going to be that marrying 11 personnel with 21, 12, knowing that now you have a Stefon Diggs, but you also added in a Joe Mixon, trying to marry those 2 personnel usages together?
Yeah, it's actually, I know it seems like it'd probably be hard, but it's actually pretty easy because a lot of it's dictated on what they do and what's the best way for us to attack that. And if it's a heavy 21-12 game, all our receivers are still out there working. You still go 11 in third down. You still go 11 in the red zone a good amount. And we really believe in keeping all our guys fresh, so that when they step on the field, they got 100% every play. And if it's a heavy 11 personnel game, then we have a lot of guys that can go fill that role. It could be a 10 personnel game. It really winds up sorting itself out through the course of the season. That's what, like I mentioned, that's what's fun for us is all of us are all in on just whatever we got to do to win this game this week. We're equipped to do that.
In the process of the offseason, does Nick and D'Amico approach you with, hey, maybe we could get this guy or maybe we get this guy, and then how do you kind of turn that back to feedback to them for how a player could work on the offense?
Yeah, it's part of what makes it Houston great. It's the way D'Amico and Nick work, and really the whole organization is very collaborative. They're always they're always asking, what are your thoughts? What do you think of this? How do you feel about this? And we have straightforward conversations, and a lot of times, similar to CJ, the conversations aren't long because we say the same thing. But there's really nothing that goes on, that all of us aren't in agreement on, and really going full steam ahead in every regard. They're very, very open and honest on all fronts.
Why is Nixon a good scheme fit? Obviously, you signed off on trading for him, and how do you think he will fit?
Yeah, not to sound like I'm joking when I say this, but like he's just a really good running back in all regards. And it doesn't matter what run scheme you run. He's run zone schemes, he's run gap schemes, he's been used as a receiver. He's really done everything. And now that he's here and we meet the person, I can see why he's always been successful. He works his tail off. He has a great mindset. He's a professional. He knows that this time of year and all the way through the season is continuously about growth, and he fits right in with the culture we have.
So,
Bobby,
piggyback off Cody's question, when they came to you about Stefon Diggs, what did you say, and what have you thought of how he's done so far since you've been here?
He's been great to work with. His big thing right now, kind of like we already talked about with some other guys, is verbiage, just picking up verbiage. It's a little different than when he was in Buffalo. But there's nothing that he hasn't seen or done before. And then the football player, man, is just he's so competitive. And I mean, it shows on tape. He is a lot like our quarterback in that he will do absolutely anything necessary to win the game. Whether he doesn't have the ball, he has the ball in his hands. At all times, he's in between the white lines. He's doing everything he can to win. He's a good route runner. I mean, he's got all the receiver traits you could ask for. But what jumps out to me and what fits with us and what we're always engaged with is how competitive guys are, how tough they are, and the style of play they have.
Bobby, what did you do? I mean, you got new tools to work with this year. But what did Bobby do to go back? Who was your Yoda that you had went back to and sort of did a self-evaluation on yourself going in year 2 and with what you got to deal with now?
My Yoda. I like it. That's a good one. I'm always asking people that help my career. I know I've said before, Kyle Shanahan and the Shanahan family have always been a huge impact on me in my career. But even on top of that, and probably the biggest influence on me personally was my dad growing up as a longtime NFL coach. I'll constantly talk to him about how the game has evolved, or maybe some things. I mean, he watches every one of our games, things that came up through the course of the season that he remembers. D'Amico's huge in that. And then my staff is phenomenal. I mean, I got a lot of experience on the staff, mixed in with some youth.
You the head coach now?
And a lot of energy and guys that can dive into a lot of different areas, self-scout wise or across the NFL, and pull things. And really at this point, and we talked about players, but it's not just players. Like year 2 for the staff is big also. Everyone has a really clear picture of what it is we want to do and how it all fits. And being able to dissect that and kind of take things we see around the league and fit it into what we want to do and what our players are going to excel at. There's growth all the way across the board.
We'll close with DJ and Kim.
Obviously, here
Damn,
in
Bobby's
San
focused.
Fran, you had a bunch of skill talent as you do now, and obviously you did it last year. How much will the experiences from when you're in San Fran, along with last year, help you this year when you have a lot of mouths to feed?
Yeah, it's all the same. Our job at the end of the day is put every player in the best position possible for them to succeed. And that's endlessly our goal as coaches when we look at it. And that goes from teaching, the teaching aspect, as far as fundamentals, technique, the individual aspects of it, all the way up to the top level view of scheme. It's just how do we make sure that guys are in the best position they could be to do what they do best. And we got a lot of guys that do a lot of things well. So really how we marry that up and tie it all together is, again, a week-to-week thing, but it's no different than what we did last year.
Hey, Bobby, kind of following up on some of the questions about year 2. Year 2 for you, what's different? You in this role, how have you grown? What's different about you? You think about how you where you were this time last year?
I would say that the number one thing that stands out to me is relationships. Relationships with DeMeco as head coach.
He's 36. Y'all got to be stoned for sure, which I don't look down upon. But, yeah, he's 36 if y'all are being serious about Bobby's age.
DeMeco, not friend and coworker DeMeco. I would say relationships with the rest of the coaching staff, and in particular relationships with the players, everybody knowing each other. We were always, even last year, we were very open and honest at all times in meetings. But I mean, now it's even more evident. We already all have relationships. We care about each other a great deal. Whether the guys that were here last year are no longer with us, I mean, we still root for them. We still cheer for them. That's what's so cool about this sport. The bonds you make with the people that are in the building is something that I don't know if you could get really in other places with just the amount of unique individuals that you get.
Cool. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All righty, there you go. That's Bobby Slowik, who I guess looks really young. DeMeco's 39, Bobby Slowik's 36. It's not a old staff. Biggest takeaways from the on-field action today with the Texans. The reminder: be sure to subscribe, like, right along. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Appreciate y'all for coming from Stutz' thing. By the way, me and Stutz, we're gonna have some really good in-season content for you. We're actually going to get together and brainstorm it. We got some really, really good ideas to add elements. I think in the print game, he's as good as it gets. In the radio game, I think I'm as good as it gets. And I think digitally kind of collaborating and trying to bring the good content. We're going to try to elevate it. So be on the lookout for that type of stuff. Be sure to subscribe so that you get the alerts. But I appreciate y'all for coming through. Doing your thing and hanging out late night, talking Texans, whether it's the slow time or not. That's when that's when the real grind happens, and that's really when the fun happens. Andrew says the offense is going to cook. I think a lot of people feel that way. I want to see a victory formation this year. I think you'll probably see a couple. I don't know how to feel about Diggs. I have Texans battered syndrome. Can I say Ed Reed? What was it? Amon Green from Green Bay is who you're talking about. I'd rather them draft someone and hope it works out. Look, man, here's the difference between that. And I respect any outlook on fanhood. If you're thinking about signing Ed Reed or signing Amon Green, those were expensive moves. Like those were expensive. That was not a cheap move. For Stefon Diggs, you traded back 19 spots and you got Diggs. And that's what it worked out. And when you got that second round pick from the Vikings, you were getting that pick with the knowledge that you were going to trade for Stefon Diggs. So even if Stefon Diggs doesn't work out, and I see no scenario where he's a total fraud and a total liar like Ed Reed was, and there's some sort of injury. And there's not a scenario where he just kind of hits a wall like Amon Green. Amon Green had some other stuff going on. You essentially, though, traded back 19 spots. Like, you didn't give him like some sort of big contract. And you also have other options around him to where the expectations aren't going to be as high. It's not going to set you back. You have no extra money on the cap, so it's not like you're going to be in no man's land if it doesn't work out. You have Tank Dell and Nico Collins, who are really, really young. So yeah, I would not, if you have the battered syndrome, I would not put that on the same thing. Bobby can never leave. He's at Hotel Houston. My vision is Bobby Slowik gets a head coaching job after this year. Gerard Johnson becomes the OC, and Bobby Slowik's a crappy head coach like Josh McDaniels was and like Rod Marinelli, and he comes back and he's CJ's OC for life. So I'm rooting against him, and I'm going to tell him this next time we talk to him. I'm telling him I'm hoping if he gets a job, he stinks, and then he becomes CJ's OC for life. That's just me being a little bit selfish there. Big thoughts from the day. I have 4 takeaways before we get out of here. Takeaway number 1, Diggs looks great. Everything from the way that he rocks the uniform to the brief highlights that we got to see, to just everything. It just looks great. Maybe I'm kind of lost in the sauce. Maybe it just, we've been wanting to see Stefon Diggs, but everything about him looked great. Can't wait to hear from him in the near future. Takeaway number 2, the body transitions. Not transitions, I guess I should say transformations, but you know what I mean. The Dameon Pierce trimming up, CJ Stroud trimming up. Those body transitions and getting a little bit more cut. Kenyon Green, I think they're going to pay dividends. And we saw that with Nico Collins once he started becoming a really good player. When they come back in the offseason, they look like they're in shape. That's usually a sign of someone who's going to work hard and leave it all on the field. Takeaway 3, I thought the quote of the day, outside of Joe Mixon, and again, we'll get into the Joe Mixon stuff, but the takeaway for me was when Bobby Slowik talked about CJ Stroud's volume 2, aka sophomore season, aka second season, and he said that that's a pivotal year for your career. He talked about year 2, like that's one of the concepts he believes where it is something that kind of sets the stage for your career. I find that interesting. It makes me feel like, on top of the natural trust that CJ has developed, that there's some sort of concept, there's some sort of philosophy that leads for him to say that. And I mean, gets it from Kyle Shanahan. Hell, we saw what Brock Purdy did this year after his really good rookie season. So when I hear Bobby Slowik say that, it kind of gets you even more excited for CJ Stroud in year 2 than you already were. So that's takeaway number 3. Takeaway number 4, Nico Collins seems relaxed. Nico Collins seems to be really, really humbled, seems to be really, really grateful and excited for what is ahead with the season. And I'm really excited to see what he's got going. When Tunsil gets his contract, it's kind of like, 2-time highest paid, and get the bag, all that, which is great. I don't tell anyone how to feel. It almost feels like Nico Collins feels like he feels a sense of gratitude, and he wants to go out there and make them look smart for believing in him. It's not just, I got the bag, now let's look ahead to the other bag. I think McClain asked Tunsil the same question he asked Nico about your next contract. I think he was a little more willing to say it. Nico's like, I ain't even thought about it. I'm ready to go. So I thought that was takeaway number 4. What were your biggest takeaways? What are you most excited about? Be on the lookout for sure for the Eat. Everybody got to eat Joe Mixon Podium Critic joint. That's going to come out tomorrow. I think I got 2 teams left to look at. I'm on the just finished up the 99 St. Louis Rams, and they're eating, and then I got a couple of other squads to look at, just kind of see what it looks like, and if the Texans, like in their best case scenario, what is everybody eating on offense? What does that look like? It'll be cool to check out for sure. GOH locker room, love what you do. You're the voice of the team. You're the greatest of all time. Yeah, might be a little much, but I think me and Stoops are the best right now. If we're saying that, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And Bobby Slowik has me excited. Stefon Diggs has me really effing excited. Nico Collins has me feeling even better for him than I did. And you people, we were a couple hun deep today. And y'all know there's no time off when it comes to this whole thing. And we're all in it together, but I appreciate everyone for coming through. This is going to be an exciting time. It's going to be an exciting season. The more, the merrier. Shout out to all the fans that let the team know they were pissed and stopped showing up. Shout out to the ones that have been riding and dying the whole time. Either way, it's just good to get to talk about the Texans. It's good to get to talk to you, and I'll be on the air. Damn, it's Friday. How about those 3-day weekends? Kind of love them. Tomorrow is Friday. And we'll get more into what the Texans had to say on In the Loop Sports Radio 610. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's